Oh, I'm in an ornery mood, people. This is either going to be a 15-minute show or a 3-hour show. I haven't decided yet. Welcome to the Pucknologists, episode 90, here on Teal Town, USA. With me, as always, Rocket Backhander.
If you're disappointed I'm here, you haven't seen my parents. I'm Rocket Backhander. How you doing, guys?
Wow. Hockey Jerk, top that.
I go my whole life without caring about football, and then I put on the big game today, and the 49ers lose. Is there a correlation there? I don't know. We'll find out in the next 40 to 70 minutes.
Yes. God, I'm so heated today right now. But you will notice that I'm dressed in black because we are kind of it's I think we can probably start putting together the eulogy for the 1920 Sharks season, and just in case, of course, I am wearing, I'll go over on this side, my Brendan Dillon gamer, because this might be the last time I can wear it while he's still playing for the Sharks. So
I should go get one of mine then.
Right? So
I have several.
After week 18, Sharks play 3 games versus Anaheim, versus Vancouver, versus Tampa. They go 1-2, as I think we all about expected coming out of the break. The last 10 games, 3-6-1. They're now 11 points out of a wild card spot. Let's get to Anaheim first. 4-2 win as Nason and Marleau each snagged 2 goals. Marleau would get his 1,000th point as a Shark, 1,100th point as a Shark in this one. EK65 gets his 600th NHL point. You couldn't get too excited for this because, hello, Anaheim. And personal goal song failure until the 4th goal. We were told just before the break and All-Star Weekend that the Sharks are going to be having personal goal songs. And when the first 3 goals were scored, it was dun, 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 and everybody's going, what the hell happened? Finally, Nason breaking the stigma and going with Hakuna Matata. Well, that went over well. Sure. Hard to hear on TV, but anyway.
I liked it.
I thought it was different, but I was like, I can't, it took Twitter to tell me what it was. I was listening and I'm going, I can't understand what the hell's going on, but whatever. Then we move on to Vancouver, 5-2 loss. Sharks take a 2-1 lead into the 3rd and then proceed to give up 4 straight goals to make matters worse. Tanev slides into Hertl in the first period. Hertl tears his ACL and MCL. Come to find out the next day, he's done for the hockey season. I don't know when the hockey gods are going to stop smiting us. Look, what else do we have to sacrifice in order for you to forgive the 5-minute major, the Landeskog skate, the Timo hand pass? What?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had the answer.
That was the hand pass.
Oh, yes.
I think the straw, I think the inevitable cherry on top, if you will, is next year, being the 30th anniversary, when the Sharks wear Reebok Edge as a warm-up jersey, they're going to say, hey, you know what? We should go back to that. And that'll be it.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
Not enough edge? Is that the problem?
Something like that.
Hey, Rocket, using the promotional tactics.
Hey, hashtag no free ads. So Martin Jones, of course, part of giving up 4 straight goals. So at this point, I don't know if we even see this guy again by the end of the year. I don't even know. Then versus Tampa Bay, the Sharks get shut out 3-0 in Marc-Edouard Vlasic's 1,000th game ceremony. Dell did play well in this one. I believe walked away with something about a 9.24, which is very good, but you don't win games if you don't score goals, people. Burns a -3 in this one, leading the team. EK65 a -2. Whoa, boy, that's an expensive plus-minus you got there. And interestingly enough, and I know Jerk is going to have some comments about this because he did on Twitter when it happened, a decent amount of booze raining down on Doug Wilson when he was introduced during the Vlasic ceremony. Jerk, would you like to tell the people about that?
Yeah, so now here's the thing. I am of the belief that everybody is entitled to their own opinion, whether the three of us agree.
No matter how wrong it is.
Well, I was going to say, if the three of us agree, or maybe if it's 2 against 1, or if it's 1 against 1 against 1, we're all entitled to it. That said, you can also be wrong. And if you're one of the people who booed Doug Wilson during the Vlasic ceremony, then I think you're wrong. Number one, because it's not about Doug Wilson, it's about Vlasic. Mm-hmm. So figure that out. Number two, I don't know what more Doug Wilson can do. I mean, he literally the only thing he's guilty of is doing his best to build a winner. I think every fan should ask for that. And number three, I don't think Doug Wilson cares about your boos when he goes home to his nice house with his nice family and his nice things, because he has a high-paying job that's really successful and he's had it for a long time, because maybe he's good at it, and perhaps.
Yeah, I have just to play devil's advocate here, though, for behalf of all the fans who like to cry about it. If he was so good, he would have a cup.
I beg to differ.
I know, I do too. But that they were represented. That's all.
Of course. Well, we want to make sure that we are looking out for the uninformed fan. That inside joke is never going to get old.
Never.
So yeah, not a great week for Team Teal. Not a great season for Team Teal. Just everything in the world sucks. So let's. That's just the way it was. There's nothing you can say, really. I mean, the guys that you pay to perform are either injured or not performing. The kids aren't taking the step forward that everybody was hoping they would. It is the Murphy's Law of a season. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Again, hopefully the hockey gods will stop smiting us at some point, and the scales will be back to even. Let's move on to some other Sharks news. Remember, we were off last week, so we kind of have a little extra stuff to get into, although I do remember there was a little bit of talk after the All-Star game. But anywho, let's move on. First off, Logan Couture, if you remember, was injured. And look, when the break hit for the Sharks, just about everybody and their mom bailed. Everybody left. They got the hell out of Dodge. If you follow any of the guys on social media, it would appear that most of the team went to Hawaii, but a few guys, including Logan Couture, went to Mexico. And somebody on social media, after Couture posted a photo of him in Mexico, somebody tried to troll him, or I don't know, get in his kitchen or something, saying, what was it? It was something along the lines of, shouldn't you be working out or doing something to work on your leg or whatever?
Wow, I'm really disappointed in you. I thought you would be, at least trying to rehab or something.
Yeah, and Couture straight up calling the dude out, going, dude, it's a mandated break. What am I supposed to be in the gym 24/7, bro?
I have a cast on my foot. That's literally what Logan said.
Well, and a couple of things that stand out here, actually. So number one, it seemed like a lot of the guys did go to Cabo, as you mentioned, AJ, but it didn't seem like they went together. They all went to Cabo, but they were all off doing their own thing. I know Sorensen was doing something, Goodrow, Shimek, Randy Hahn clearly went deep sea fishing somewhere.
With goggles.
Yeah, so that's
high UV rated goggles.
So that's number one there. Number two, to Rocket's point, I would love to see somebody get on a treadmill while you have a boot on. That's just me. And then number three, and I can't confirm this because I don't know the person, but some of my tweets were saying that this guy who said that to Couture is a known moron. So
social meathead.
Yeah, that's not my words; those are other people's words. So take that how you may.
Jeez.
Okay.
I didn't realize Chris JWS had a burner account. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's a lot more intellectual than that.
Well, I know. I was just usually he watches and I haven't seen him in the chat yet, so I thought that might fish him out. Anyway, threw a little chum in the water, if you will. So Logan Couture calls out a fan. Another thing that happens during the break is the San Jose Sharks have announced that John Tortora, co-president of Team Teal, will be leaving at the end of June. Interesting, no details I don't, like, is he moving on to another gig locally? Is he moving on to work with another team? Just nothing given, just basically staying with the team till the end of June to ensure a, harmonious transition. Jonathan Becker named sole president, effective immediately. I didn't notice Tortora at the game versus Tampa in his normal seats, so I don't know if the transition has already begun, but
well, and I have, there's one thing I'm kind of curious about with this whole situation. So obviously he stepped down as the president of the team, but for those who don't know, John Tortora is in some capacity the legal representation for the Sharks as well. So I'm curious to know if that element of his job is something that he is holding on to or relinquishing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the same part of that same announcement, but before we get to that, we got a funny comment in the chat. Totora's going to Vegas to meet up with PDB. There you go. Kidding, unconfirmed.
He probably is, though. I wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at this point.
Well, speaking of not surprising, in the same announcement, Hasso Plattner gave Doug Wilson a vote of confidence, essentially saying that, I believe in Doug, blah, 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 blah. I think we can all agree that it's a case of a few things. First off, Doug Wilson has built up enough cachet to be able to dig himself out of the hole that he's currently in. And number two, who else is Plattner going to get at this point?
I don't know. I think it was the right move.
Yeah. Certainly wasn't the panic move we saw in Vegas when you were 3 points out of a playoff spot, but
Yeah, because didn't they fire their GM too? No, who just fired their GM?
New Jersey.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, they fired him like a month or a month and a half after they let him trade away Taylor Hall. Explain that one to me.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, I don't think I will.
I can't.
So anyway, basically ensuring that yes, Doug Wilson will be here for at least through the 2021 season. If they miss the playoffs for 2 consecutive years, we'll see if that remains to be the case. And I'm gonna be the first one to say, and I'm not even looking for foreseen points here. I feel like this might be the beginning of a little bit of a downturn for the Sharks. It would not surprise me in the least to see them miss the playoffs 2 straight years. There's some hard contracts. Unless he's able to pull off some of that magic and get somebody else into the chair, oof.
I would be surprised if they missed again.
Well, based on his Ice Insight comments, it sounded like that wasn't an option. But I don't know.
No, it never is until it is.
Yeah, and we'll get to some of Wilson's comments here a little bit later in the show. We got a couple more things to check in on. So Hertl, Tomas Hertl has had a hell of a week, ladies and gentlemen. Stymied during the accuracy shoot, and I still I blame that digital stupid board. If those had been the old styrofoam targets, he probably would have got 5 of 5. Channeled his inner Bieber during the skills competition by donning the Justin mask and basically ingratiating himself to the St. Louis fans. A lot of people got a kick out of it. Hertl was kind of like the talk of the skills competition with that stunt. Then the dude goes and scores 4 goals, including a natural hat trick in the game. And when the final game goes, he's not, the 4 names up for voting. He's not even in the conversation, despite what he did at skills, despite getting 4 goals. And then to make it even worse, or give the NHL a worse look, he gets the game-winning goal to give the Pacific the win, their 3rd in 5 years, and doesn't even rate to be the MVP. And even St. Louis fans, even Boston fans, as Pasternak got the award, they were even saying, yeah, it should have been Hertl.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag not my MVP.
Yeah.
No, Rocket and I watched that game together, and both of us were equally tilted on that decision, and I even said to her, I was like, if Hertl doesn't, like I said to her, I was like, if Hertl was nominated and didn't win, like I could live with it, but if he's not nominated, I'm gonna like lose my mind. And
Yeah.
sure enough, they throw that graphic up, and
Next thing you know, I'm bailing jerk out of jail at 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
Well, he lost his mind.
Is it time to shit can the whole All-Star thing, or
No.
at least move it to the summer?
Well,
No.
So Wyshynski makes a pretty good point on this. I was listening to Puck Soup the other day, and he says as much as the NHL likes to crap on the Olympics for quote unquote disrupting their season, that's precisely what the NHL is doing with the All-Star Week to all of its players. They are disrupting the season of these players. So what does it matter which disruption is? I say it's a huge disruption. If you want the best for these guys, then your bye week is a bye week, but don't throw the All-Star game in there. Throw it in the summer. Keep it somewhere fun and interesting. Make it a party for everybody.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and we've talked about that before. Do it around the NHL awards, or do it around the preseason, or somehow merge it with the Winter Classic. I mean, that's something that I've been harping on for years, that when it eventually happens, I won't get any credit for. So, I mean, maybe change that up. I mean, I like where they have it now. It's a time in the year where people and sponsors have their eyes on the game. So I think in that respect, they're doing all right. But yeah, they got to figure something out, because as AJ's famously said, this is not the All-Star, or, you don't have an All-Star season. You have an All-Star, like 46% of the season.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that was another point that they brought up too, is that they should think about bringing in players from each of the teams who are not necessarily the All-Star-ish bracket, but say like the guy who's got the fastest shot on the team isn't necessarily an All-Star. So, you bring in the fastest shots from all the teams, and so the skills competition isn't necessarily your All-Stars, and then your All-Stars come in for the All-Star game.
Yeah, they've mentioned that a few times over the last couple of years on 31 Thoughts, where it's like, get
no free ads.
No free ads, of course not, but it's a great podcast if you don't listen to it. Where like Rocket's saying, find skill stars, if you want to make up a word for it, where they come in, like Andreas Athanasiou on Detroit, one of the fastest skaters in the league. He'll probably never be an All-Star. Martin Ferk at the AHL All-Star game clapped a 109 mile per hour shot. That's a world record for a slapper. Never going to make an NHL All-Star game, especially because he's in the AHL right now.
He's probably there since Fanatics doesn't know how to spell his name on the back of the jersey. But yeah, anyway.
But and kind of how Rocket was saying, like have your All-Stars be in the All-Star game, like the guys who are scoring a lot of points or the goalies who are making a lot of saves, but then have your skill stars, be in the skills competition. I know, and this is a very odd reference, but when Mark Letestu was on Edmonton, was your very basic B fourth line center. But Edmonton put him on the power play, and he had 17 power play goals one year. Just something like that. Find your specialists and get them to do something. The other thing they suggested was, because it's in Florida next year, do a Team Florida kind of thing where you have Panthers players, Lightning players, and then guys who are from Florida. Have those groups of people be like an all-star team, which I think would be interesting.
I'd like to know, are there any Florida-born NHLers right now?
I know Jacob Chikrin is from Florida.
Florida man? Jacob Chikrin is a Florida man?
Can we please make part of the skills competition? Okay, hear me out.
Wrestling alligators?
3-on-3, 3-on-3 beach volleyball.
Oh, you mean vis-a-vis Top Gun?
Yes. In fact, you even have to play the corny Kenny Loggins music behind it the whole time on loop.
And they have to be greased up.
Yes.
And somebody has to flex and pretend to look at their watch every minute and a half.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, or spin the ball on their finger.
Oh yeah.
Fully,
fully take. Yeah.
like tetherball.
Oh my God, I am here for this fantasy, AJ. I fully am. I'm on board.
According to a hockey reference, Shane Gostisbehere, Jacob Chikrin, Garnet Hathaway, Ryan Carpenter, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes are all born in Florida.
The Hugheses are Florida boys. Okay.
Nice. Probably.
I don't think
That's one hell of a team of Florida men, I'll tell you that.
I don't think they grew up in Florida, but I don't think
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
Oh, man. All right, so let's see what else had to do with the All-Star Weekend. Oh, yes, because of the whole Bieber mask thing with Hertl, Binnington would put, for those of you who are unaware, Bieber put it out there that if he got 10 shots on Binnington, if he potted one of them, Binnington would have to donate a specific amount of money to a charity, and if he didn't score at all, Bieber would donate money to charity, blah, 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 blah. It was also said that Bieber was supposed to, in fact, have showed up at the All-Star game, but I don't know, couldn't make that happen for some reason. It's not like he's, I don't know, busy touring or anything, so who knows what the problem is.
Well,
he had disease for his Lyme. He had
say-
therapy for his Lyme disease.
Yeah, he just got diagnosed with Lyme disease.
Oh, well, I heard that goes great with the coronavirus.
Jesus.
Dude.
It's 2020.
I get it.
You can't make fun of diseases that kill people. It's 2020.
Dude, but Lyme goes with the
No,
corona.
Lyme
What are you
disease.
gonna-
Coronavirus.
I
get that.
got
All
it.
right,
I
all right.
got it. I got it. No
Jeez.
free ads.
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, either way, Binnington having some fun and posting on his Twitter, posting a picture, having a good time, and Justin Bieber remarked, "I'd never wear a Sharks jersey." Now, of course, it's funny if you do a quick Google search. He'll never wear a Sharks jersey, but he'll marry someone who has no problems wearing Shark stuff.
Okay, now.
It should also be said that Instagram post by Jordan Binnington had a picture of Hertl with the Bieber mask in it, so it's not totally out of pocket.
I get you, but still, it's just, I don't know. And not to mention the fact that don't like images exist of Bieber like wearing just like 20 out of the 31 teams jerseys?
Yeah, Toronto, Chicago, LA. It's so windy here. I can't think of any others, but yeah, you're right.
Teams that he essentially is just hoping he'll get traded to or like drafted to. It's like,
whatever.
He's really just he's thirsty professional tryout. If you ever like watch his little hockey Instagram stories, thirsty.
Yeah.
Rangers, Oilers, Coyotes, Devils.
As Jerk would put it, hashtag clout chaser.
Yeah.
Jerkonomics 1.1, let the clout chase you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That young man is not. He's not. That just makes me mad. He's not even good enough to play Division I at Sharks Ice. I wouldn't let him wear a Manitoba Moose jersey. I'm sorry, but I like the Moose though. But like he's not. No.
I mean, he's decent.
Oh Christ! Are we really going to get into a whole Bieber discussion?
Famously,
talking about how shitty Bieber is 1,000 times better than beating the dead horse that is what is wrong with this team, AJ.
I don't know. A lot of people were pressed about his Instagram comment. I thought it was funny.
He sucks.
He wants to be like Drake with the Raptors. That's it. Just again, clout chasing. So let's move on. Also announced in the last week. The Barracuda looks like they're going to finally see construction begin on their new arena. Took a while, but the San Jose City Council finally approved the expansion of Solar for America Ice. Now, if you follow Teal Town USA, you would have heard all about this last April. We had a story about this last April. Breaking news. We did a follow-up, I believe, in November, and the final hurdle was crossed, and so construction should begin in April 2020 with an opening of April 2022. We'll see if that plays out. Typically, a lot of those target dates are, shall we say, on the ambitious side. So we'll see if they're able to pull that off. But either way, look forward to having a nice cozy, intimate arena. 4,200 seats is what they're projecting, but It won't be like they play in the cave that is SAP when there's only 1,000 to 1,200 fans in the house on a given Wednesday or something. The one thing that it does stand out for me though is I'm wondering how this is going to impact the San Jose Giants. Because if you look, the ballpark for the Giants is right behind Solar for America. However, they are basically demoing a track across the street and building a multi-level parking garage. But from what I understand, future plans are also in the works to get the San Jose Giants a new ballpark as well. So
well, and with this multi-level parking garage as well, it's actually going to, believe it or not, add more parking than what's already there before construction. So yes, they're losing a lot of parking right outside the ballpark, but they're gaining more just across the street. And anybody who's ever been to a San Jose Giants game, if you don't get a parking spot, good luck, Chief.
Yeah.
Because that's a hike, especially in that part of town. Ugh.
Wow, way to set that up.
Well, it's difficult because it's like such on that weird industrial outskirt, and the public transit doesn't really necessarily come down there. Like if light rail came from downtown like to there, or even just out to Curtin, it would be a lot better, but it doesn't. So y'all are stuck.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
And just a quick note on the Hertl stuff, just because I happen to have it handy. It's funny, not even involved for the MVP, and to make the NHL look even worse, they had no problems, if you see here, using Hertl's likeness to promote the end of the game. It's like, let's use Hertl for that. Oh, here's the front shot of NHL.com. Nice shot of Hertl right there. And then it even says, Hertl breaks tie in second period with fifth goal of tournament. Pasternak named MVP. Like, that's the funniest the juxtaposition.
That's like something you read on The Onion.
Yeah, like the juxtaposition of this image, the headline, and the subhead. You just go, man, just put your junk into a meat grinder next time. It'd probably be less painful.
It's very clear that whoever was in charge and had the power in this decision-making process was an Avs fan or a Knights fan. Very clear. Like, that message could not be clearer.
Assholes. Anyway, so earlier this week, Doug Wilson spoke with the media, didn't offer much, as you would expect. It's typically, the local guys, Pashelka, Kurz, what have you. We all know that that Doug Wilson plays everything very close to the vest, as I'm sure every other GM does. The funny thing being is that he echoed his sentiment from the beginning of the season. Yet again, no regrets on the EK65 contract. I don't know why people keep asking him this, because if he did regret it, would he admit it? Who would?
Never. It's going to be like that. Oh, God. What's that? Entourage. Deny until you die.
That's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter what it is. He would never admit it. Why would he ever go, after signing the biggest deal in history for the team, the highest paid defenseman, would he really come out 5 months later and go, yes, I've made a terrible mistake? You know what I mean? It's just never going to happen.
Never.
So Doug Wilson, after that media interaction earlier in the week, Doug Wilson faced the amount of season ticket holders for the Ice Insight series prior to the game against Tampa Bay this week. Interesting things that he did admit. He did seem to be a little more open to giving up a bit of information. Says he would like to add another winger, says that goaltending does need to be addressed. And then the part that I liked, or at least I got a kick out of, said that the responsibility for this year falls on him. Well, yeah, you're the one that put this roster together. Of course, he didn't offer any details as to why the responsibility fell to him or what responsibility he had in it. He just said, the buck stops here, blah, blah, blah. Again, more cliche stuff. But the other telling thing is he said rebuilding isn't an option for this team. Now, I'm assuming it's because of gate, and you have to maintain a certain amount of attendance with this team for it to work. And if you don't, well, hey now. Jerk. What's a team that's like sucked for a while, has tried rebuilding, and like it hasn't worked for quite some time yet? Oh, wait a minute. Are we about to get into a conversation about the Coyotes?
Well, what I was gonna say, and I don't want you guys to get any shrapnel from the bomb that's going to be dropped. So
collateral damage. I'm looking forward to it.
Please direct all your shrapnel to @hockey_jerk on Twitter. But let me preface this by saying that this is not me calling anybody out. This is a generalization.
Good.
If Sharks fans were less fickle, they could handle a rebuild.
Oh, I would agree with that.
But the problem is that the Sharks don't have either Jones or Dell. They don't put up a shutout every night, and maybe your food coupons only get you one order of chicken strips and French fries, and so it's like, you know what? I'm not going to the game tomorrow because I wasn't taken care of. And we've seen so many just dog crap teams. Calgary Flames, Chicago Blackhawks, Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Rangers, Nashville Predators, all of these teams who go through just piss poor, god awful, burn it down years, and it's a full building every night.
Now, hold on. What were the first couple of teams that you mentioned?
Calgary Flames, Chicago Blackhawks.
Okay. Well, first off,
I don't know about Chicago.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know about that. The other thing being is that, Chicago does also have a little bit of a cachet of winning 3 cups this decade. Then Calgary, what else is there?
I mean, they have Canadian football, they got junior hockey, but my point is that when the Sharks are good, it's not enough. And so, how can the organization be expected to handle a rebuild when being good is not enough for the fan base? Generally speaking.
No, you make a solid point. You do make a solid point. I think it's maybe the Sharks also sometimes pay for stuff that other teams are willing to do, whether it's the Giants or the Niners or the Warriors. Maybe they go a little bit further on certain things than the Sharks do, and so maybe Sharks fans go, "Oh, well, the Giants do this or whatever," and conversely, the Sharks might do a couple things that other teams don't do. Who knows?
All you have to do is go on the internet, and every year you see people, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, Blogspot. I don't know. They always say the same. They say the same thing. Oh, another playoff exit. Why do I keep giving this team money if they're not going to win for me? Well, number one,
because I'm a fan of the sport, you dick.
Yeah, number one, if you're a fan, you stay with the highs and lows. Number two, they don't owe you anything. Number three, nobody said give us your money. You gave your money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put my soapbox away. We can get back to the fun stuff.
As you can tell, Jerk is a ride or die bitch.
I'm edgy as all hell this weekend.
It's because, you know what it is? It's the wind. He's feeling it.
Yeah.
It is. Las Vegas is going to blow over. The wind is at 35 miles an hour right now.
That ain't nothing.
It really isn't.
It's something for the location.
It's flat. There's nothing out there to break up the wind velocity. It's going to blow straight through.
Well, you're flat, okay?
Oh my! It just got personal in here, ladies
That's
and gentlemen.
a little personal.
I'm sorry. I'm. You know what? People are making fun of Erik Karlsson. I'm on edge.
Keep digging. Keep digging.
Hey,
You'll bust through to China.
Rocket, pass me a shovel.
Dude, for those of you watching right now, I just want to let you know that Hannon is playing the part of Rocket, Brownie is playing the part of AJ, and Brody is playing the part of Hockey Jerk right now.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry, you guys. I think YouTube might flag this video because, if you've read the rules, you're not supposed to post live murder on YouTube. So,
kaboom. Hey, speaking of live murder, let's talk about Philadelphia for a minute. We're going to go around the ANHL. Evidently, did Gritty punch a 13-year-old boy in the back?
I hope so. Because what Rocket and I have this conversation like 3 times a day.
Yes.
When something happens to a kid, they probably deserved it.
Correct.
You make a good point. And the funny thing is wasn't there video of like Tommy Hawk beating the shit out of a drunk fan one time?
Yes, there was. And then like a week and a half later, he was at the All-Star game in San Jose.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, and yeah, Tommy's Hawk was a little bigger than normal that week. Let me tell you, man. He was
and there's a few things that stand out to me. So number one, this incident allegedly happened in November.
It's just now coming out?
So it's just now coming out. Number two, if like as a parent, and this is as somebody who doesn't have kids, but as a parent, if some big like
7 foot
like Sesame Street like pube hair looking thing punched my kid, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
And the fact that not only did Chief wait 3 months to put this out there, but the picture that the article uses as its main photo is Homeboy's Facebook picture. Now, if you're tilted about a mascot punching your kid, would you put a picture of said mascot on your Facebook? I'm just saying.
I don't like clout chaser.
I'm not buying it. I think it's a fan of the team looking for like an easy way to try to get something, you know?
Clout.
Yeah, I bet you.
Comics 1.1.
Yeah, if these people like threw them season tickets for a season, they would all of a sudden everything would be fine. They would forget all about it. That's what I think.
You'd hear, hey, I didn't want to be that guy, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, in other news of shitty bratty kids, if you saw the video that went around on Twitter, some kid was in line to get something signed by Connor McDavid, and evidently there was a piece of paper handed out at the event that somebody took a photo of, and it stipulated like Connor is just here to sign these particular cards. It's like it's presented by sponsored by Upper Deck, and this is like literally the only thing he can sign today. That's how it is, blah blah blah. So kid gets to the table where McDavid is, and the kid's like, "Why won't he sign my jersey?" And you know, McDavid, although McDavid was a little bit of a tool about it, like he just like turned around, signed the card, just hand it, like didn't even look the kid in the face. He just signed it, hand it. And I don't know if that's what happened, but kid turned around and like threw, you know, the McDavid jersey off the railing into like a little pool area or some sort of water foundation thing, whatever it is. The thing that gets me is like, I don't like it. It almost seemed a little bit like a setup, like they just knew this was going to happen. I don't know. When you look at the way it's filmed, I don't know. I just feel like everybody's trying to get something some days, and so I see that and I go, that's a little sus.
Well,
but then again, you know, video or it never happened, right?
Well, and that's I think about it from the perspective of the parent. If my kid was meeting Connor McDavid, I'd probably film it.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I would also like say, why are you holding? Just put your jersey on because here's what he can sign. Like explain that to. And if the kid doesn't want it, then it's like, well, then let's just go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and there was somebody who replied to the and they said, "Are we really going to flame this 10-year-old kid?" And I'm like,
no, let's find their parents.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but yes, like Rocket and I flamed the hell out of this kid on Twitter. Like somebody saying he's only 10. When I was 10, I knew to not pull crap like that. Because more than anything, Mother Jerk would have made me get in the lake and grab the jersey.
Yeah. Mama Rocket would have dragged me into even Papa Rocket would have dragged me into a bathroom and beaten the tarnation out of me. I'll tell you what.
What tarnation?
I'm just saying, Mama AJ just never would have even taken me to one of those things.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I mean, I get it and everything, but no, like, yeah, I am gonna flame a 10-year-old kid because that's, like I said, 10 years of meaning, like that's 10 years, that's a decade's worth of time that the parents could have a meaningful conversation about how to handle difficult emotions in public. Say, like, even if you take 3 of those years away, that's 7 years. 7 times 3, it's over 2,000 days worth of like usable teaching moments the parents opted to not use.
Yeah.
Well,
Parents handle your shit. Well, see, the problem is, and I've seen this personally. It's the idea that they're and I want to like. Okay, we need to move on. I don't want this to turn. This is for a Discord chat. But the thing for me is there are just too many parents on the planet right now that think that their children are absolutely perfect and nothing that they do is wrong. You know what I mean?
What did Jerry? What's Jerry's phrase? What does he say? Those who participate are valued.
Oh yeah, all that participate are valued. Yeah, it's not all that enter will be devoured. All that participate will be valued.
We've been talking about jerkonomics. That's Jerrynomics right there. But I just want to say one thing, Rocket. You're annoying me, so go play with your iPad.
There you go.
Right. Well, I'm gonna be over here looking up stats on my.
All right.
And yes, that is a shot at millennial parents.
Okay, if we're going to keep it type 45, we got to move on. Steve Spott was hired in Vegas. Enjoy your power play, Golden Knights. Former Shark and all-around psychopath Ed Belfour was arrested and charged with third-degree criminal mischief and public intoxication. There's no way in hell this was the first time. But Ed Belfour, man, I don't know what it is about goalies of that era. Patrick Waugh, Ed Belfour, these guys are just nut jobs.
The kid from the Mighty Ducks movie.
Oh,
damn! You went there. Even when you play a goalie, you got to be a friggin' nut.
I mean, it's a sad situation, but there is a pattern nonetheless.
Well, there is. They get their own hotel rooms for Christ's sake, because nobody wants to room with them.
Didn't Keanu Reeves have a bit as a goalie in a hockey movie at some point? I think so. He did.
If he did, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
I am unsure.
He did. It's true.
Okay.
That's why we have Google, right?
I think it might be in Youngblood. I'm not 100% sure on that though.
Possibly. You know what? I'm curious.
Rocket backhander.
Yeah. Well,
good call.
But I'm curious though. In Youngblood, did Rob Lowe like wear a hat that had his team logo on it, or just like a generic league logo hat? No, does nobody get that joke? All right, fine, never mind. Moving on.
But I think he did park his Maserati in a loading zone.
Okay, nobody got the gag. Never mind. It was that Rob Lowe caught a lot of shit because he was on the sideline of an NFL championship game earlier this week.
I did see that.
Yeah, so I had a cap with just the shield, the NFL shield on it, rather than actually supporting one of the teams. Anyway, okay.
That was fun.
I like football.
Yeah, me like NFL. 3 letters go together good. Okay. Finally, taking place around the NHL, some account that I've never heard of, although they have a lot of followers, Russian Machine tweeted out that it was breaking that the Seattle team would be called Kraken, and then it came out more that, they were actually reporting news that they heard the mayor, John Hoven, who actually has been on our podcast once, he told that to the guys at Sirius XM NHL. And look, I'm not saying that Hoven is wrong. What I am saying is that he does have a history of throwing shit at the wall and taking credit for anything that sticks and forgetting anything that doesn't. So, and from what I remember, not a lot of shit has stuck to that wall.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
No, by all means, go ahead.
No, it's all you.
It just is not he didn't think it out all the way. He didn't.
No, which in my experience, that's a rarity, for that to happen. So, but no, this is another instance. Like Russian Machine never breaks. Like I don't know where you classify it. Like, I think they are kind of like somewhere between us and like Kurz, like somewhere in there, in that range. And everything I've ever seen them post has been 100% bang on. So I think this is an instance of, opening the wrong door and, falling on your face kind of thing. It happens. We've all been there.
Well, if not, then good luck playing at the crack house.
Yeah, and so this is what I wanted to get into before we kind of wrap this up. What do we think about the name Seattle Kraken, guys? Are we
Stupid?
No.
Okay, so it's not just me. I wanted to make sure that we were all in the same boat here. If there was no dissension in the ranks, I think this is a horrible freaking name, and I know that there's a large contingent of people out there that think it's awesome, but it's like, oh my God, just that the Sharks have the tank. It's gonna be called the Crack House. It's like, it's cute to get behind that whole release the Kraken thing, and I'm sure they would play that noise when the team was on the power play or something, like the Sharks play the Jaws theme. Oh my God, it's not worth it for a sound effect.
I'm on record as saying Seattle Emeralds. I said that like 5 years ago.
I'm gonna go with Puck Soup's suggestion of the Seattle Sockeyes, and then again add my own in there as saying that their mascot is going to be the Slammin' Salmon. Oh God, I hope so. I hope so.
That would be awesome.
As a placeholder, I've just been saying the Seattle 32s, but now I kind of like that.
All right.
I see Sockeye. I don't think it's great. Honestly, I wish they would go with spiders, just because I think they should just purchase the rights to the San Francisco Spiders logos and fonts and all that, because they did have some awesome looking stuff, and Spiders is just a cool name. The name of your barn is the web, and then
that makes no sense for Seattle though. That would be like the Kansas City Sharks. It doesn't make any sense.
And so, how does Kansas City Chiefs make sense?
Well, there's a very obvious racial undertone there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there.
Okay, how does
resident
Calgary
historian?
Hold on, how does Calgary Flames make sense?
That's from the Stampede, right?
Well, there was probably some big fire in Calgary that.
No, they were originally the Atlanta Flames.
Oh, good call. All right. Okay.
Oh, God, Atlanta just can't keep a team.
Well,
can they?
and again, I would have to check with my sources, but Atlanta may have been on the path of Sherman's March. And for those who don't know what that is, basically the systematic burning of large plots of land during the Civil War.
Okay.
Look at the big brains on Brad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, though, if I ever wanted to go look at, get an up-close look at a population of panthers, South Beach, Sunrise, probably not my first choice.
There's a lot of cougars there, though.
So, Sherman's March was conducted through Georgia. There you go.
There you go.
Either way,
if that's the case, that's a little.
Either way, there's I get what you're saying, but there are plenty of
better options.
Well, just plenty of options that you can see where it's like, yeah, the team name really doesn't have anything, Spiders would be fine. I would actually like them to hijack the old basketball team. Just go with Seattle Sonics.
Seattle Ball of Twine.
People would be triggered at that.
Oh, I like it. And North Star mentioning the Metropolitans. I know that was around for a while. You can go Seattle Mets.
Somebody owns a copyright to that name.
The Seattle Metropolitans?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably like the great-great-grandson of the owner who never watched hockey before.
It's somebody who doesn't have any intention in using it. They're just holding it because they know it's going to get the money.
Oh, well, then pay the money if you want it. It doesn't matter.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. I would take $600 million.
How about the?
I'd rather just call them Sockeyes.
I'm fine with that, but there's gonna be a lot of memes on that one about getting socked in the eye. You might as well go with,
They're socking the eyes and better than smoking crack, one way or the other. If you get squashed by Sasquatch, I know that the Big Feet was definitely up there too.
Seattle Baristas?
Yeah. The Seattle Starbucks, they'll spell it KJSTUOE. Y.
The Seattle Starbucks. It's stylized
Starbucks.
as the letter C hyphen ATTLE.
And a small hieroglyph of an owl.
I don't know. Just the way I've seen some fans from the Pacific Northwest, I think like the Seattle entitlement would probably be the most apt description. But
the Seattle tears.
The Seattle seasonal depression. It'll get you every time.
Jesus.
You just call it the Seattle rain. I mean, whatever.
The Seattle meh.
Seattle Emeralds.
All right, we get it. Okay.
By it. Emerald City. That's all I'm saying.
All right, finally, let's wrap this up. Type 45 is already out the window, so let's shoot this to hell and get it over with.
Lose 42.
Yes. So it wouldn't be a week of the Pucknologist without another story about the Fanatics screwing up yet once again. And so this was passed along to me by someone on Twitter. This shirt, he told me, I kid you not, after one trip through a washing machine. One trip through a washing machine, my friends. And to be quite honest, I was at the Shark store last week. They had some shirts for Hertl. It was a gray shirt that had Hertl's name and number on the back with the Seattle All-Star logo on the front. And I'll tell you, feeling the back of that, the 4 and the 8 or whatever, it already felt like a little kind of like it could have flaked in my hand if I would have just like, if my hands would have been like slightly damp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look at this. After how is this company allowed to exist? I don't get it. But to bring you our shitty story of the week about the Fanatics hockey jerk.
Yeah, now we can say that we have a personal experience here. This is a primary source for you. So I purchased something from Fanatics, and I'd like to preface this by saying I purchased these items because I didn't have another option. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, it's not a monopoly per se, but anyway, go ahead.
What I purchased a T-shirt and 2 lapel pins from the same team. I bought them at the same time, and they came in 3 different shipments, 2 of which have not arrived yet.
And when did you place this order?
January 20. Oh, Jesus. No later than January 23rd. It may have been earlier. I just can't remember.
Oh, my God. And yet, Amazon, you order something, it's here 2 days later. Doesn't matter what it is.
Well, and like if it's, I get it, the Super Bowl, there's going to be high wait times. Like I can live with that. But the fact that it's 3 items from the same team.
It's a Super Bowl. It's not a big gift-giving season for NHL apparel.
No, well, but no. Like I hear something like, oh, well, they're gearing up for Super Bowl. So, but no. That's not an excuse. If Amazon's able to get everything out on Christmas, then Fanatics should be able to get everything out no matter what time of year it is. And if they don't have enough people, there's what you call seasonal hirings, where you bring on extra, people because that it's going to require extra, people to do work. No, there's just no excuse. Fanatics is just one of the worst run companies on the planet. That's just all there is to it. There's literally example after example of this proving this correct. But anyway.
I think that they're just a little bit too big for their quality control britches.
They're just horrible.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting proven time and time and again. But hopefully, some of these contracts. I hope there's an out for the people that are involved in it. Like, you know what? Okay, we gave it this long, and we're tired of hearing our fans complain about how shitty you are because we're the ones hearing about it, not you. So we just need to end this deal and move on. And Jerk, can we talk about how awesome Vegas is with their merch because they do all their stuff in-house?
Oh, Rocket and I spent about 10 minutes perusing the store at their practice facility last weekend, and there was there was too much good stuff to look at.
There was a lot of stuff where he and I both were like, oh, if this was Sharks, we'd get this in a heartbeat. Oh, if this was Sharks, we'd totally get this. And
granite drink coasters. I mean, who the hell thinks of that?
Yeah, their drink war was really nice.
Well,
and they had white All-Star jerseys.
Why is it going to be white?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Fanatics, you got to... And now I'm thinking about, I swear somebody else brought up another problem, but again, I hear so many... It's to the point, everybody knows how anti-Fanatics I am. They literally just, throw stories and stuff they hear about my way, and I appreciate it. I like it. I get a kick out of it. But I unfortunately, I can't think of the last one. But that's it. We should probably head to our sponsor for a minute before we go, so we'll be back in 90 seconds. Hey, you 30 teams in the NHL. Are you looking for a deal? Do you need a trade partner? Is your team missing a 40-year-old center? We've got a deal for you. Are you looking for someone to bring some defensive consistency to your blue line? How about Brendan Dillon? He averages over 20 minutes of ice time per game. He led the Sharks last season with a +19. He has a shorthanded assist this season on a team with the worst goal differential in the Western Conference. Call now. Or do you need a goalie who gets scored on more than a Kardashian? How about former Boston Bruin legend Martin Jones? No one cares about goals against or save percentage when your goalie has a ring and Martin Jones can bring one to your team immediately. Who cares if Jonathan Quick gave it to him? Martin Jones has one. And what if you're in the market for a stalwart penalty killer? How about Milker Karlsson? Sure, he'll be 30 this summer. Sure, he's declined for 4 straight seasons. And sure, you probably already have one of these guys on your minor league team that can do the same thing for a lot less money. Who cares? Not only does this guy kill penalties, he also gives your fans someone else to complain about. Lines are now open. And what if you're looking for a name that will just eventually be in the Hall of Fame? We got you there. We got you with 2 there, in fact, that's right. How about Joe Thornton or Patrick Marleau? Call now, buy one, get one free. Operators are standing by. Have you seen Marleau's contract? Hell, you've probably spent more on player fines this season. Both of these guys will be in the Hall of Fame. Don't you want them wearing your jersey when they go in? Operators are standing by. Give us a call right now, 1-899-ROOSTER, and ask for Doug Wilson. If you've got a low-round draft pick, you're going to get right through. Call now. I hope you guys enjoyed that new sponsor. Anyway, I remembered my Fanatic story. It was the case of, like you said, the 49ers going into the Super Bowl and all that, and a bunch of people, as soon they won 2 weeks ago. And dudes were literally placing orders that night or the day after so they could have their, SF 49er top or whatever with the Super Bowl logo. And they were like, your shipment is due to arrive February 3rd, the day after the Super Bowl. It's like, oh my God. And to me, it's just like, how are you're literally pissing away money. People, or the one that I hear all the time is, they'll get the email that says your order has been delayed, and then 3 days later, we've had to cancel your order.
Yeah.
And I tweeted out, like maybe earlier this week, when I was looking at, I forget what I was looking for on the website, but I came across a listing that it had the little iconography on it that said almost gone, and then below the price it said out of stock.
Well, that link that I posted in the YouTube chat, take a gander at that.
Well, I mean, I'm on the show, so I can't do that right now, but anyway.
Well, that's more for everybody in the chat.
Okay.
Basically, what it is
horrible for the audio feed, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think you actually retweeted it. So go to AJ_Strong on Twitter to see this. How do you ship a jersey with a stain on it at Fanatics? Terrible. And it's a 49ers jersey.
Yeah. No, I believe
it's George Kittle.
No quality control, no nothing. They're just such a shitty company. Okay.
I mean, you know what? I was a 10-year-old kid before. You don't see stains when you're 10 years old.
And with that, so Rocket, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me yelling at kids to pull their wet jerseys out of the damn pool. Over on Twitter. Hey, what's up? Rocket Backhander on Twitter. It's R Backhander76, capital R, capital B, little Ackhander76. Or you can check out my photographs over on Instagram. Generally just trying to take like artsy fartsy photographs of teal stuff on teal backgrounds because I'm all about that monochromatic teal life. And just, general fun stuff being me. Rocket Backhander, one word, Instagram. That's me, AJ.
And speaking of inexplicable stains, Hockey Jerk.
Alrighty, well, you've heard us allude to it a couple times tonight, but Jerkonomics 1.1, don't chase the clout, let the clout chase you. And there's more where that came from. Number 2, today is February 2nd, 2020, in the year of our Lord. And the Detroit Red Wings currently have 12 wins in 53 games, which is a season pace of 18.5 wins. As I always say, it could be worse. AJ?
It feels like that, though, for the Sharks.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it does for me. AJ_strong on all the social media, blah, 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 blah. We will see you next week for episode 91. We will be talking about games. Let's whip this out if I can find the damn schedule. Okay, at Calgary, at Edmonton. Oh, shit, only two games this week. Well, that should be an easy show. But both of them in Calgary and Edmonton, and I guarantee you neither of them will have the energy of a game between Calgary and Edmonton. I'll tell you that right now. Can we talk about, can we end this on Big Save Dave versus Talbot? Can we?
Absolutely.
I mean, when was the last time you saw two goalies go at it? And the fact that Talbot just went out to the red line and just stood there like going, hey, everybody else is doing it. You want to go?
You know what was fantastic too about that game? So Big Save Dave let in 4 goals and got yanked. And then after the goalie fight, Cam Talbot and Mike Smith both got ejected from the game because they were the second altercation in a single stoppage. So Big Save Dave had to go back in.
Dude, but Talbot rocked him, dude.
Oh, yeah. He was feeding or was it Smith or Talbot who was feeding fists to the other?
No, it was Talbot. Dude, it was Talbot beating the crap out.
Somebody got their wagon fixed, that's for sure.
No, dude, Talbot was just waiting for it and was fun. Like, Smith comes out and go, oh, yeah, dude, I feel 6'8", sure. And Talbot went, here, eat this. So, that's it, kids. Episode 90 in the books. We'll see you next week for episode 91, God willing. And, hey, we might actually show up for this one. Unlike the 49ers. No, I'm kidding. They had a good run, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Catch you next week.